So in this video, I'm going to show you how to duplicate a biome. And you might recall that in best practices, I said, hey, don't use an existing like a biome that you're using for rules planning, which we already created. We started using it for rules planning. We don't want to use that same biome for persistent planting or planting by hand. But instead of creating a whole new biome from scratch and dragging our trees in and changing, having to tweak those colors again, or the grasses, or finding those grasses and the rocks and the meshes and the colliders, we can duplicate a biome. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate the biome we already created so that we can use it for persistent planting or hand planting. So let's go into Unity. And how we do this is let's find the biome that we created here, right? And we're going to go up and we're just going to simply go duplicate. And when we do that, you're going to see that we get the biome that we originally had. Then we have my first biome #1. Let's change the name of this to my persistent planting biome and hit enter. Excuse me. And now what I want to do before I do anything else at this point is I want to regenerate my vegetation IDs to reinitialize this biome. So I click that, and now essentially what I have here is I have another biome sitting there, or I'm sorry, a vegetation package sitting here that I can use to create a biome. But the information is already in there. All the trees, the plants, and the grasses, and all those rules are already in there. So I just saved myself a lot of time. So if I go back in the Vegetation Studio Pro, and I'm already in Vegetation Studio, there we go. It's a little laggy here. And I go down into my biomes, and I want to create a vegetation through a package. So I'm just going to take that my persistent planting biome, which I already created, and I'm going to drag it there. And you can see now that I have a second biome. But I'm going to call this one, you can see it's almost exactly the same. It's got the same name because we used the same package. I'm going to call this my persistent planting biome, so it's easy for me to see. And I'm going to call this biome, I'm going to call it biome 8. I like, because that way if I create another rule biome, I'm going to call it 2. So I keep these kind of grouped together. So I'm going to call this biome 8. And I can leave the sort order for 1. We're not going to get into that. That's more of an advanced topic. And that looks pretty good at this point. So now if I go to edit biomes, so I got my first biome, and you can see all the stuff in there, right? And if I go to my persistent planting biome, it looks exactly the same. So cool. So now I've got 2 biomes that are exactly the same, and I can use one for planting by rules, which I already started doing, and I can use the other for planting by hand or being like very precise. So that's pretty much it. That's duplicating, and you can use that in a wide variety of ways for duplicating biomes. And keep in mind, now that this is duplicated, I can change it too. I can add some more trees, add some more rocks. They're 2 separate biomes. They just started exactly the same, right? So very flexible and really easy to use.